Hey everybody, my name is William Davis. I'm the owner of A.P.C Photography. I'd love to talk to you about a couple wireless microphone systems that could really change the way that you do run and gun, or just really how you do video in general, especially with the way that our new or changed environment is for doing video, since we're expected to do more than ever before. So on the top side, you're going to see the Rode setup, which is a Rode Wireless Pro system with the new interview mic system, which is really nice. I'll explain the benefits of it in just a minute. On the bottom, you will see what used to be my main workhorses. With one exception, I had a Zoom F8N Pro. I didn't have an F3. I'm showing you a solution that's gonna be the least expensive and still get the same results. So let's talk about each one of these setups and how they can benefit you. So we'll start with the Rode system and then we'll go to the Sennheiser system. Both of these systems, if you go either way, you're in a fantastic position. So let me just tell you some of the benefits and you decide which one's better. First off, we're talking the Rode system. Rode Wireless Pro comes with two transmitters, one receiver, the lavalier microphone, which is the one I'm using tonight, all the accessories you could possibly need. So if you have somebody who is in loose clothing, you got magnets. If you got to clip it on, you got a clips. If you need a lavalier microphone, you got a lavalier microphone. If you need wind muffs, I mean, you name it, it has all the accessories. And it's already in there. Plus, it does generate a time code, which you can run through the headphone jack microphone input, and that does save you a lot of time in post-production if you're going to take time for post-production. And if not, and you don't want to take advantage of the recording feature, the 32-bit float recording, it still sounds great directly into your camera. So either way, you benefit very well. They did add a new feature in this year recently. I haven't had a chance to play with them yet. I have played with the adapter version, which turns these little microphone pieces into, it looks like a microphone, like a handheld stick phone. But they've actually built out a stick microphone, which if it's anywhere near their normal microphone setups, it's phenomenal. Rode has been making microphones a long time. They know how to make great ones. They go directly against Sennheiser with the NTG series. And with their handheld microphone, it should be just as good or better. One benefit, it has 40 hours of record time built into the stick microphone, and each one of those portable units has 30 hours of record time. This is where let me tell you one of the benefits, is you have more budget for a gaffer, you have more budget for lighting, you have more budget for location, by saving, $1,000 a day on an audio guy with a package to $1,800 a day on an audio guy with a package. I'm sorry, guys. I do audio. I'm an audio engineer too. I'm sorry, but this is one way that they can save and allow them to expand, and then later hire you in and have more jobs for you. So that setup right here is what I use nowadays, minus the wireless interview mic. I haven't got my hands on those yet. I will probably have a pair of those before the end of the year. Kind of depends what we're doing, if I'm going to be sponsored again or if I'm going to just buy them. But this is one setup. A very, very strong setup, works really good, and you're going to have a great end result all the time. Now, the next one is going to be the Sennheiser setup. And this is another phenomenal setup. You're going to get a receiver that has an adapter that allows you to plug it into the headphone jack of a camera. Caveat: only one microphone can be plugged in the camera at a time unless you have a splitting adapter. And even then, that can be kind of a little bit of an issue. And generally, for most of us, we've used external recorder like an F8N Pro or a field recorder of some form. The F3 is another great way to go with it. And that gives you 32-bit float. Your record limit is basically how big your card is. So pretty easy. And then battery is just battery life. Speaking of which, the AVX and the Rode are all lithium-ion batteries, so they handle their charges pretty well. They'll last you through the day on shoots the way you need to. This package comes with a stick microphone. It comes with the receiver, the transmitter, the lavalier pack, and the lavalier microphone. And it's a premium microphone. It is beautiful sounding, and it gets me great sound in every single situation I've ever been in with it. The handheld microphone is an 835, generally with the package, or a 42. So one is an omnidirectional, one is a cardio. You can also get a hypercardio version of it, which is the 845, because the head screws on and off, so you can just take them on and off any way you want to and put them back on. So that's one benefit of this system, that you can change how that microphone works. The lavalier microphone's super nice. Now, where these two come together in their systems, once again, this is one of the systems where I would need an audio engineer versus a no audio engineer, is that they both have the ability to record in 32-bit float. One would need a dedicated audio engineer to maximize its potential, and one would not to maximize its potential. One has a time code option built into it, one does not. So having the scratch audio through the line out on the F3 does make a huge difference when you're syncing audio in post, whereas the time code works really good for syncing audio in post. So both can give you great audio and easy to sync the audio up later. One time code is easier to work with, whereas in other situations it may not. Oh, hey, Josh. Thank you, Josh, for coming in here and saying hi. Um, let's talk about some of the benefits across the board with them. So let's take a look at all four of them together. If we're going to talk about these, if we're looking at the bottom, it has been the professional way of working for the last probably 25 years, is have a wireless system separate, have a recorder separate, and then either time code sync in or run a line into the camera and then sync up audio later. For all of us who had to do it by lip syncing in the past, tons of fun, I'm telling you. For those of us who had to worry about running out of batteries in the recorder, paying attention to it, or hiring in an audio engineer, even one that's just starting, bottom system's been part of the way we go. Those of us had the relaxation, being able to relax on set because we have an audio engineer and we hired them in and we know they're going to handle all the audio. Once again, that is super nice too, because we can not stress out on the audio portion, get everything done. Now, as technology has moved along and we've gotten cameras that we've got to put on gimbals and other setups, uh, going wireless has been important. The other part is single take, first take, second take only has become fairly normal. And the advantage of going with the Rode Wireless Pro system is it tends to be easier to grab the data. You can see where your audio dropped when you're doing an import if you import it through the app, or you can just import it and time sync it later and not worry about it because it's easy to do time sync with or time code with, which has saved me tons of time. I've never even worried about if I had it right or not. I just synced up the time and called it good. Whereas with the AVX system, if I had any drops, and this is talk about the system below, you really did have a drop because it lost everything because the microphone, the receiver aren't recording. The transmitter's not recording. And it's the receiver is getting the signal and it's going to an F3. So you got to hope that you get it. And if your audio engineer waves your hand and says you got to take again, got to take it again. And so that's one of the reasons why I migrated to the Wireless Pro system, because I've had critical interviews where I lost the energy of the first shot because I didn't have that recording of the first shot built into the transmitter, and the receiver just didn't get the signal. So if you're wondering why I'm comparing these two, it's because as technology has gotten better, as stuff has gotten stronger, the old ways are kind of going away. And the other benefit too was going to gimbals. Having two receivers and trying to figure out how to put those onto the gimbal and wire in and do all that stuff and make sure my recorder's there, or syncing up through scratch audio and having a shotgun mic to try to sync it later. It's been a pain in the butt since you've got a gimbal, because you only have so much weight you can take. Having the Rode system with the receiver being just as it is, just really tiny, lightweight. It's perfectly set up too, because it's not where you're looking behind the screen trying to look down like this to lift the gimbal up to see the levels. You're looking down on top of the screen. I've got the screen right here, so let me see if I can get that in front of the camera. So the screen is here, It's not touch screen, which is nice because every once in a while you'll touch something and change settings. And man, I don't want to deal with that later. You fix it in post. If I can not make mistakes now, that makes a huge difference. And being able to look straight down like you're looking at all your other settings, it's just easier to see levels and all the rest. You'll know if you're peaking because it'll let you know on here because you got levels on this. You can have it mono or you can have it split. It's actually pretty easy to work with. Another thing you can do is just plug in a cell phone and manipulate some of the settings that you want specifically for it. So all the way around, the Rode is saved me a lot of second and third and fourth interviews because I get those great interviews. You always hear I got that great first take. Hopefully the audio is good. This case here, I know the audio is good. I didn't have to use a wired lavalier system. Now, I have in the past, if I've been really, really concerned, grabbed a 20-foot cabled lavalier system, hooked it into it, had them wearing down the shirt, and go, man, all of us who've done that, you know the sound is spectacular, but the setup sucks, and sometimes it just changes the mood of the room. So that's where the Y Pro comes in. And it's really changed a lot of things. And the stick mic has been where I was hesitant on turning this into my main system, period, because the AVX has been my beast. It does everything for me. I love the AVX. I've used it in presentations where we've had PA systems. I've used it as a recording for interviews. I've been on red carpets. You name it. It has made my day, saved my life, made me money, and just been an incredible unit every single time. But I may be retiring. I'm still speculating. I have to see for the next 6 months to a year. But if the Rode keeps at the level it's been, the Sennheisers will be my secondary backup versus the Rodes being my secondary backup. Then my F8N Pro, unless I'm doing multi-interviews or it is something where I'm bringing a sound engineer in, might get retired. That's a $1,200 recorder that's going to have dust on it. So, yeah. That's a 32-bit float. You don't want to waste that. So here we go with what's next in the future. Will I be going with it or will I not stick with it? We'll see. Now let's talk about cost. An AVX system combo without a case is going to cost you about $1,200. A Zoom F3 is going to cost you about $299. I can tell you the Zoom F3 is amazing. We'll have a line out, a headphone jack out. It'll be easy to work with your systems and you'll be extremely happy. The Sennheiser system, two of those is $2,500 without case. Add another $100 for a case. You're looking at like a $2,500 system, which is really reasonable for an audio system all the way together with its capabilities. I mean, super reasonable. Most of us are used to spending $1,200 to $3,000 just for one mic setup, and so that's not uncommon. Now, Rode, I don't know why they're priced like this. I'm happy they are. The initial receiver setup with the two lavalier microphones is going to cost you about $400. And I don't know what it is for other countries, just the United States. And then you're looking at about another $500 for two stick mics. And then you're probably looking at about $300 for $100 to $300 for a case that fits everything in it and makes it just a beautiful piece to work with. Excuse the noise. I'm in a public area. We're about to watch some fireworks here in about 20 minutes, so I thought I'd do this real quick. So we're looking at $1,100 versus $2,500. One you need an audio engineer with, one you don't. Not required to. Now, do I use an audio engineer with the Rode systems? Sometimes, yeah, I do, because the client deserves that or they've requested that. Either way, it works for me and I do it for them. But I don't always have to have it. Now, another benefit to this system that most people don't think of. If you are in the Zoom family, which I am, Zoom right here, been using Zooms for a long time, love their systems. You know about the F1s and the F2s. Both of those are phenomenal for hooking a lavalier and having backup audio when wireless transmission is just not going to be there. Can't guarantee it. and it is a very, very important project. I love the fact that they have internal recording on them. So each one of these units here has an internal recorder. And with that internal recorder, you have 30 hours of record time. And if you don't even have the receiver with you and you had to send someone else on B-roll and they needed to grab some audio from that B-roll and they got really crappy scratch audio, give them one of the receivers. Unpair it from the unit there, which is easy to unpair. I mean, it's like a two-step thing. Click on it and hold down a button. It's quick and easy. And they can catch audio over there while you're doing main recording over here, getting your A-roll, and all of a sudden, your B-roll is fantastic, your A-roll is fantastic. It's an all-around masterful setup, and I don't have to have all the extras, like multiple units. So I can be a director of photography and then have a cam op, and we just basically are killing it on the game and doing phenomenal. Now, this isn't to take anything away from the Sennheiser system, because we used to do a similar thing where we just have the Zoom with it and we'd have to have another field recorder or hope that the camera's internal preamps were good enough to handle the whole system. And that was one of those question mark pieces. If it was a Sony, I wasn't worried about it. For some reason, Sony had really good preamps on them. If it was Panasonic, I was like in between. If it was a Canon, I was just like, dear Lord, please, no mess ups. For their non cinema cameras, their preamps just weren't that good. Nikon actually had pretty good preamps in them. Josh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's just years of screwing up. I've made more mistakes than everybody else. That's the only reason why it's even worked. I'm not an expert. I'm someone who just figured out a solution from falling on my butt. That's all it was. I'm glad that you have owned both and have purchased the Rode on my recommendation. Uh, yes, that's been me on set, the guy that screwed up. But, it's always a screw up that ends up being the expert later because you had to figure out solutions. Um, Actually, how has your experience been, Josh? I mean, you've used it. I'd love to see a comment of what your experience was after time with it, because mine has been phenomenal, and it's been all over the place, live bands, everything else. I've done some pretty creative stuff with these mics, and I'd love to have a comment from you. I'll throw it up here on the chat. Just show it up on the screen on the live stream. Anyway, thank you, Josh. What am I saying with this? I'm saying that there's a possibility that Rode has stepped into a new lane or is going to have to force people to migrate to this. Another advantage to the Rode over all of the other of these little portable systems is the Sennheiser jack on here. If you've used others like the DJI and all the rest, massive issues with it not being able to work with microphones that need 2 volts to 10 volts. Hold on, here's Josh. I absolutely agree. They are great for a one-person team. It's just phenomenal. Phenomenal. So, as I was saying, these right here can work with 2 to 10 volt required systems. And if you've been in the game a long time, you know there's a lot of these new portable non-professional units. And I call them non-professional because they can't do the job that the professional units do on small things that are critical. The 2 volt to 10 volt is absolutely in every way, shape, and form needed, because you're going to have presentation microphones, you're going to have lavalier microphones that need that voltage, you're going to need a lot of things that make it work. I just want to thank you for watching tonight. I've been yakking out for a minute, and I actually want to go watch the fireworks. Thank you for watching. This is my opinions on this. I love Rode system, not because of anything other than I've used them. Oh, wait. Hold on. Josh had one thing to say. The AVX is nice, works great, but it's older and over. Okay, Josh, we're going to disagree on this one here. For what you get out of the AVX, it's great pricing up until the Rode Wireless Pro system with the interview mics. Until then, the AVX was right in line with what you get for the microphone head, what you get for the lavalier microphone, the 14 hours you get, the battery. It really was right in line. And then Rode came out, and their Rode Wireless 2 system was good. They listened to all of the creators, and then they added in all the extra features we wanted. And yes, now I would say in the new market, it is a bit overpriced, but it's still in line with anything else you're going to professionally use. Once you get to that level of handheld microphone, I do need to try out the interview mic. If it's even in line with the 42 or the 835 head unit, yes, you're right. It has a better lav. I like this lav, but I tend to use the Sennheiser lav. That's why I know the 2 volt to 10 volt works. That handheld stick mic, if it's anything as good as the 42 or the 835, Rode's got a winner. And they're going to be in a lot of people's audio bags for the situations, for shoots that are between initial 4-figure to just under 5 figures, where you're going to have a small team or just you, and then you're going to be editing it later and other. It's going to be in that bag, where and it'll allow you to have a lighting team and other things to be there. I'm going to call it a night right now, Josh. I could be in here for a while longer, and I don't want to miss all the fireworks. They're like, we're on tribal lands, and they actually have like this huge fireworks and everything, so it's really cool. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Everybody